Hey, I recently made a video on the top 10 shortest Bible verses, and I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes about how I was actually able to determine what those verses were. I actually used Python, it's a programming language, and if you don't have Python, what you can do is go to Google, search download Python, and it's easy as that. So once you get it installed on your computer, what you can do is go to something called idle, which is what I'm in right now over here. And the first step in finding the verse counts, or the length of the verses in the Bible, is to actually have a reference to the actual text. So here I have the King James Version in text file format. So each book has a file here, you can see. What I'm going to need first of all to do this is to get a reference to this location. So if you right click on this on a Mac, you right click and then you press Option, you're able to copy the path name. So I'll copy that over here, and I'm going to create a reference for it called directory. So now I can access all the text I need with that reference. And to actually work with a directory like that, I'm going to have to import a library called OS. And in OS, you're able to actually use a lot of different functions that help you to manipulate things on your computer. So I'm going to say for file name, this is going to do for each text file in that directory, just by using the method list directory, and the actual directory is directory. So now I'm set up to loop through each file in my directory. So the next step is to actually access the text file that I need to use. So to do that, I can say with open, and then I specify the path. So that's just directory, and then I can append the file name, specify that I'm reading it. I'm going to call it text. So that's actually going to look in the file for the text. So there are a few things I'm going to want to know, like the name of the book. And to get that, I'll say name, and I'll take the file name and split it up by a period. And take the first element of that array that's created. So you see the name of the book here, or the name of the file is Zephaniah.txt. This is splitting it by the period and giving me an array of Zephaniah, the first spot, and text in the second spot. So I want the first spot to get the name of the book. Next, I want the actual text of the file. So I'm going to call that book, and I'm taking text, since this is what I'm referring to here. The text is the open form of the file. And then .readlines will actually give me the text. And each book is set up so it's actually just one line. This is all one line of text. So there's only going to be one element in that array of lines. Another thing we don't want are the references. And when I mean references, I mean like 1, 1, 1, 2. I'm going to want to know what all of those are in the book. So in order to get that, I'm going to have to introduce another library, and that's the regular expression library, which is known as RE. And if I use RE, that actually gives me some methods for finding patterns of text. So I want to find all the patterns of text that look like number colon number. So the way you can do that with regular expressions is specify I want numbers. The plus sign indicates that you want a string of numbers until that string number ends. So that could be 1, 10, 100, any amount of numbers. And then I want the colon and another number like that. And I want to look in book 0. And then I want to actually create an array of all the verses, so the text of the verses. So a way to do that is to use regular expressions again, and split by the pattern that I talked about earlier. Only this time I'm going to use spaces. So that'll give me an array of all the text of each verse. Then a few more things. I'm going to want to keep track of which verse I'm on when I'm doing this. So we're going to start at 0. The number of characters in a verse will be set to 0 initially, and the number of words in that verse will be set to 0 as well. So for verse in verses, I first have to address a base case, which is the very first verse, which does not have a space at the beginning. So you see here I have a space for all the other cases. So in this case, I'm going to check to see if the verse starts with 1:1. That will tell me it's the first verse of the book. So if that's the case, then I want to count the characters as length of the verse minus 4. Since this will still be in the verse, I need to account for that and get rid of those 4. And then words will be counting the number of spaces that happen after the 4th character. So that's the way I can write that is like this, counting the number of spaces, and then adding 1, because there won't be a space at the end, but there is a word at the end. So otherwise, there isn't this issue with the 1:1 at the beginning. So I can just count characters by using the length of the verse, and count words by counting number of spaces in the verse and adding 1. So now it's the moment of truth. I need to print out all the information I want to be displayed. And what I want to see is the name of the book, the chapter, the verse, number of characters, and then the number of words. And I'm going to have all those printed out, separated by commas, so I can easily manipulate that data as a CSV file. So first I'll print the name, and then I'll separate it with a comma, and then I want to get the reference for the specific verse that we're on, and I need to just get the first part of the chapter. So if I split it by the colon, and then take the first element of that array that it creates, sorry, it's like that, that means I've got the chapter. So a similar thing, I'll just copy this, add the plus sign, but instead of it being the first element, now I want the second element. So that'll be the verse, and then I want the number of characters as a string. So a string of characters, that's converting the integer characters into a string. And then the same thing with the words. Alright, so we're all ready to print the desired information. And before it moves on, I need to make sure I increase the verse count. Okay, so this looks like it will work. Let's run it. And you can see it is printing the book, chapter, verse, and then the number of characters in that verse, the number of words in that verse. So it'll take a little while, but once it's done, I basically have a CSV file here that I can manipulate and sort and filter on to get the top 10 shortest verses in the Bible. So once it finished running, I actually was able to put it into Numbers, which is like Mac's version of Excel. It's not nearly as good as Excel, but I was able to take the original source that was created in the shell of Python and extract the book, the chapter, the verse, number of characters, and the words. And then I sorted it by words, then by characters. And you can see these are the ones that I actually talked about in the video, because all of these were just names. But the ones that I have words for here. I actually used in the video. So thanks for watching. This file, as well as the Python file, I'm going to put on my Patreon. One of my posts will have links to this, or files that you can download if you want to check this list out for yourself. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.